Thank you very much for your help, Kevin. 4 years ago, the Southwest Region Executive Committee established a Friend of Education Award. It is an annual award given to someone associated with our region in some way who has genuine interest in education and a demonstrated concern for students and the ideals of public education. It is the highest award we give. Our first recipient 4 years ago was former Superintendent of Public Instruction for the state of Ohio, Franklin Walker. 3 years ago, it was Al Cavawell, former Secretary of our region. 2 years ago, you may remember, it was Bob Quayling, the former Vice President of Procter & Gamble. And last year, we added David Harkin to our Hall of Fame. David, as many of you know, was instrumental in helping to solve our sovereign immunity insurance problems years ago here in the state. Our 2006 Friend of Education perfectly represents all the qualities and criteria outlined when they established the Region Friend of Education Award. They wanted the person to be connected to public education in some way. They wanted the person to be connected to Southwest Ohio. The person must have a demonstrated interest in our youth. Tonight's Friend of Education came from public education in Hamilton, Ohio. He has lived in Hamilton and Fairfield all of his life, except when traveling from ballpark to ballpark and ballpark to ballpark, and vacationing in Florida. Tonight's Friend of Education began his career in baseball at the very young age of 15 in February of 1944. Signing a contract with the Cincinnati Reds. Just 4 months later, he was pitching for the Reds, and to this day, he is the youngest ever player in Major League Baseball history. He became the hope and idol to many of our youngsters. Major League player Joe Nuxhall spent the next 23 years in Cincinnati and other cities such as Kansas City and San Diego, but he always wound up in Cincinnati and was selected an All-Star in the 1955 and 56 years. Joe retired from playing baseball in 1967, but was immediately recruited into the broadcast booth of none other than the Cincinnati Reds. Even then, he continued to pitch batting practice before games prior to going into the broadcast booth. Most of you know him as the old left-hander rounding third and heading for home. Home was to see his wife, Donzetta. He worked in the broadcast booth next to his little buddy, Marty Brenneman, for over 32 years. Although he has cut back his time on the radio, Joe still announces several games during the year, and I might add, sounds great. Though nationally known for his contributions to Major League Baseball, Joe has made an impact in Greater Cincinnati and Southwest Ohio with his annual scholarships, volunteer work, and contributions to major charities. Now his time is spent with his son Kim, working on a subject in public education known as character education. The Joe Nuxhall Education Fund was established in 2003 and has become known as the flagship of character development in Southwest Ohio. Kim Nuxhall is the executive director, and I might add Kim and his wife Bonnie are both teachers in the Fairfield Public School system. The purpose of the Joe Nuxhall Character Education Fund is to fund character development programs and projects for students. In the summer of 2005, the Joe Nuxhall Character Education Fund sponsored a free seminar at Fairfield High School dedicated to character building. Sean Casey and a number of other Cincinnati Reds participated in the event with busloads of entire athletic teams attending from our southwestern Ohio schools. The event was duplicated in Columbus this year, and we were just talking about Joe's interest in making these events bigger and better in the coming years. Joe joins tonight the other 4 Friends of Education in our Hall of Fame. Joe, in appreciation for your support of public education, boards of education, and the children of Ohio, We are pleased and proud to present you with our 2006 OSBA Southwest Region Friend of Education Award. Joe? Joe, on behalf of the region, I'd like to also present you with this check for $1,000 to the Character Education Fund. We know it will be used well.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, John. And you know, I just can't describe my feelings, because none of this has ever been my goal to be receiving